Hello, and welcome to Vincent Price Month right here on Monochrome Monday. Now, the Tingler is going to be our subject for today. It is a 1959 film directed by William Castle. The writer is Rob White. You're going to be hearing those two names a lot this month. And there were actually 5 collaborations between them and Vincent Price. That's right. So we're going to be talking a lot about that. So let's tell you what the movie is all about, then get to the fun, juicy stuff at the end, right? A pathologist, Dr. Warren Chapin. A pathologist, Dr. Warren Chapin, discovers that the tingling of the spine in states of extreme fear is due to the growth of a creature that every human being seems to have called a tingler. A parasite that is attached to the human spine. It curls up, feeds, and grows stronger when the host is afraid, effectively crushing the person's spine if curled up long enough. The host can weaken the creature and stop its curdling by screaming. Movie theater owner Dr. Oliver Higgins. Let's try that again. Movie theater owner Oliver Higgins, who shows exclusively silent films, is an acquaintance of Dr. Chapman. Higgins' wife Martha is deaf and mute and therefore cannot scream. She dies of fright after weird, apparently supernatural events happen in her room. During the autopsy, Chapin removes a tingler from her spine. After they contain the tingler and return to Higgins' house, it is revealed that Higgins is the murderer. He frightened his wife to death, knowing that she could not scream because she is mute. A centipede-like creature eventually breaks free from the container that it has held and releases it into Higgins' theater. The tingler latches on to a woman's leg and she screams until it releases its grip. Chapin controls the situation by shutting off the lights and telling everyone in the theater to scream. When the tingler has left the showing room, they resume the movie and go to the projection room, where they find the tingler and capture it. Saying that the only way to neutralize the tingler is to reinsert it in Martha's body, Chapin does so. After he leaves, Higgins, who has his guilt to Chapman, is alone in the room, and as by supernatural forces, the door slams shut and locks itself. The window closes, echoing what happened just before Martha was frightened to death. The tingler causes the body of Martha to rise from the bed, staring at her husband. Higgins is so terrified he is unable to scream. The screen fades, and Dr. Chapin's voice is heard. Ladies and gentlemen, just a word of warning. If any of you are not convinced you have a tingler of your own, the next time you are frightened and in the dark, don't scream. So there you go. That is the tingler. Of course, there is a prologue similar to Frankenstein, as Castle opens the film with a warning screen to the audience that I am William Castle, the director of the motion picture you are about to see. I feel obligated to warn you that some of the sensations, some of the physical reactions in which the actors will also be experienced for the first time in motion picture history by certain members of this audience. I say certain members because some people are more sensitive to these mysterious electronic impulses than others. These unfortunate sensitive people will at times feel a strange tingling sensation. Other people will feel it less strongly, but don't be alarmed. You can protect yourself. At any time you are conscious of a tingling sensation, you may obtain immediate relief by screaming. Be embarrassed by opening your mouth and letting it rip with all you've got, because the person in the seat right next to you will probably be screaming too. And remember this, a scream at the right time might save your life. Of course, we got Vincent Price as Dr. Warren Chapin. Judith Evelyn is Martha. Dave Morris is played by Daryl Hickman. Patricia Cutts is Isabel Chapin. Lucy Stevens is Pamela Lincoln. And Philip Coolidge is Ollie. Now, this comes after The House on Haunted Hill. We'll be doing that a little bit later in the month. Castle had moved his independent production from Allied Artists to Columbia to produce The Tingler. Price, of course, came on board after that, with Hickman playing his assistant and newcomer Lincoln playing his sister-in-law. Cutts played Price's unfaithful wife, Isabel, And The Tingler was Price's second and final film with Castle, and the fifth performance that would ultimately brand him as the Master of Menace. So Lincoln's real-life fiancée was Hickman, and they actually got casted together. At first, Hickman declined, but agreed after Castle convinced him to help Lincoln's career. According to Hickman, Castle did such a good job of convincing him that it would help Lincoln that he ended up working actually for no salary. Hickman was 5'10", so he had to wear lifts to be in the scenes with a 6'4" Vincent Price to offset the disparity. So yes, it is very interesting. It does have an LSD trip in it as well. I think this is one of the best movies Vincent Price ever made, and that's why I'm starting out with it this month. But you'll get a good sense of it, I think, if you've never seen it before. Again, this is another Castle and White production. They had 5 collaborations, and at least Castle and White did. We'll be talking about another one, like I said, we'll be talking about another one a little bit later on in the month when we talk about House on Haunted Hill. So the Tingler remains most well known for a gimmick called Percepto, which was a vibrating device in some of the theater's chairs in which the on-screen action activated. So yes, they did actually have, back in the day when they did a lot of gimmicks and not just a popcorn bowl, they had a lot of gimmicks back in the day, and this is one of them where they would put electronics in somebody's seat, and you get that little tingling feel to it. And I thought it was pretty cool. I love the fact that they would do gimmicks like this. I wish we would go back to doing gimmicks like this, but I do also know how expensive that is. But anyways, that is the Tingler, and this has been Monochrome Monday.